Welcome to ACTV Newsmakers. Recently we talked about the Addison Township 708 Mental Health Board, its establishment here in Addison Township. They have held their inaugural meetings. The board and its work is now underway here in the community. I'd like to get an update on the work of the board and also tell you about an upcoming event and find out about some other things happening at Addison Township. Joining us once again is Addison Township Supervisor Dennis Reboletti. So hi Dennis, thanks for coming in to talk about this. And recently I guess the Township Board passed a resolution kind of acknowledging some of the work that the new 708 Board has been doing, which we talked about recently.
We did. So the Township Board adopted a resolution recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month here in the Township. Again, trying to bring light to the circumstances of those who suffer usually on their own and suffer in silence and that need assistance with mental health. And with our mental health board coming up, we thought that was appropriate to bring attention to the issue. And on May 22nd, our mental health board will be meeting to finally adopt their budget.
Okay. And this May 22nd event, actually, there is an open house attached to it. So why don't you give us the details on that so our viewers are aware that they could be a part of this and meet the mental health board?
They can. So in our event center at the Township, the mental health board will be meeting at their 6 p.m. usual time, but from 4 o'clock to 5:45 p.m., we're having an open house where some of myself and some of our board members will be there. Some of the board members from the mental health board will be there as well. And we've invited some of the folks that have testified in front of the mental health board. I think Ray Graham will be there, UPC Seguin. I'm hopeful that we'll have a Serenity House will be there. I'm hoping the Vet Center will be there, who's providing counseling. And they're going to have some tables there with pamphlets and get a chance to meet local elected officials, members from the community, to attend and open up that dialogue. And then that will transition into a vote by the Mental Health Board to establish a budget.
It sounds like this meet and greet and the opportunity to meet service providers that are in and near the community, groups that the Mental Health Board will be working with, is maybe one of the first steps in their overall plan of how they're going to engage with the community on this subject. And what better way to do that than to kind of give them a platform to sort of showcase what they do and services that are provided, and any of your constituents, your residents, could come in and find out about those services that are
I think it's just easier in an open setting instead of trying to be in front of the board and public comment. We're going to have light refreshments. It's easy just to go and have a conversation with these providers. These are some of the groups that will be applying for grants. We also want to bring attention to other not-for-profit providers throughout the township and throughout the area that we have a mental health board. We're going to have a budget, and that mental health board will be going out to bid for different services.
One of the services that I think you have put on the township radar, in fact, you've been talking about it for some time, has been a establishment of a youth center.
Yes.
At the township building complex. Can you talk about that? And you've actually reached out to get some state assistance in this area also.
Right. So the Alive Center is the group we're partnering with. They have facilities in Naperville, Glen Ellen, and Hanover Park. We're looking to have a center open up 5 days a week, drop in after school, middle school through high school. They've applied for a $400,000 grant to provide for the services to open it up and staff it. That's through the DuPage Grant Foundation. And we've applied for a infrastructure grant from Senator Glowiak, who represents a good chunk of Addison, that we would looking for about $300,000 to improve our building, make new classrooms. They make a STEM classroom, art, music, build out a kitchen, et cetera, so that they can move into a newer facility and be able to have something that's upgraded, not from the 1950s.
Which that building was at one point,
That's right? Yes.
It used to be a school. What does a youth center do, or what is your vision of a youth center? How would it operate in the township?
So any students that qualify from throughout the township could come in. They could get tutoring, they can get counseling, they'll get a meal, they'll be able to interact with the staff there. And it's just a place for them to go and hang out, and they can play video games, they can learn new skills, they can play board games, video games, whatever, and just interact. A safe place for them to go after school.
And this would provide services for young people. Is there also an opportunity for young people to meet with professional staff? In fact, I think you told me that, did the township just hire a psychologist?
We did. We have a staff psychologist. She's been with us for about 5 or 6 months. She's been helping me work through these programs. But we're going to have her transition back to being counselor, and that if any of these kids do need further assistance and they want to go that route, we'll have somebody available so that they can begin to see.
In kind of an environment that maybe they would be more comfortable in talking with a professional, in this case with the staff psychologist.
Correct. And so when the kids go there, nobody's trying to force any counseling on them or identifying anything, but they really let the kids open up to them. They do a lot of mentoring, so I would hope Addison Trail high school students would want to participate. And we're working on some internships with some local colleges, so that we can bring other providers in, have them get their internship hours, and hopefully maybe stay employed and come with us.
My understanding is, and you're right on that, internship is a big part of the curriculum and the area of study for those who are going into social work, for example, to be a licensed clinical social worker. There is a lot of emphasis on internship, and it's pretty rigorous.
It is.
People work in hospital settings, they work in community-based settings, such as what you're describing. So you'll probably do pretty well to find yourself some interns, I would imagine.
And we have, so our psychologists and other psychologists in the area have agreed to help mentor them and oversee them and provide that guidance for them. They're actually looking forward to that part, to mold those minds, to expose them to the different circumstances that they're going to see. And what better way than to interact with young people to help them out.
Now, when you talk about all of this happening at the Township building, what do you need to do infrastructure-wise or facility-wise in order to make all of this happen? Do you have the space to do something like this right now?
We do. It's just the fact that the old classrooms, all the rooms are built with brick and mortar and block. So a lot of the spaces wouldn't work. We have a large hallway, which basically is dead space. So we're going to tear a lot of the old brick walls out and then work with the Alive Center to put together the right size classrooms and office space for them so that they can provide these programs and have up-to-date things for them.
Do you have a schedule of construction on something like this?
Yeah, so what we're hoping to do is hopefully if they get the grant and we get our grant, I think we can probably open up by January 1st. I think it would be, that would be the hope. But we'll see what happens.
Right. Does the mental health board, where do you get funding for something like this? How are you going to pay for something
So
like
the staffing would be provided through that 2-year grant from the county. So they've applied for $200,000, which would pay for all the staff in there. The mental health board can also help the township with some of the renovations because obviously it's going to be used for the community center. And there's also the hope of taking some of that land, that open space we have on Oak Street, fencing that in to provide a safe area for the kids to go outside and play when weather permits.
Now, of course, on top of everything you're doing with the mental health board, the proposals for the community center, the youth center, you also have another tenant in the building, and that is the Secretary of State's office. And they are using your space also. It's getting pretty busy over at the Township.
It is getting very busy. We went from having 45,000 square feet above grade with only about 20 employees in there to now the Secretary of State has about 12 full-time employees there, our employees, this community center. So the Secretary of State's opened Thanksgiving. They have been growing. They're actually even talking to us about maybe taking additional space, and they're taking our whole first floor at 50 East Oak. Right now you could do road tests, Real ID. You can do, you name it, everything but CDLs and doing your titles and registration.
For your vehicle.
Right.
So a lot of the things that we knew about from the DMV offices, the driver's license offices, could be done at 50 East Oak Street?
Yes, and another actually exciting thing for parents in the neighborhood with kids that are looking to get their driver's license, Secretary Janulius has expanded a program that will open up our facility and others around the area to allow for high school students on Saturday mornings to go get their driver's license. That will start I think the first Saturday in June, and that will go all summer.
Now, just do a quick snapshot here. You've been Township Supervisor for many years now. You've been in local government for many years. Compare what it was like back then to where you're at today. Did you ever think you were going to have the Secretary of State's office, a mental health board, a potential youth community center, youth drop-in center out of that facility over on North Addison Road when you first came into office?
No, it's been 7 years, and the hope was to reclaim the building, to one day give it to a usable area where we can have groups come in. And I never thought we would get this far. I think we're very fortunate with my staff working as hard as they have and working with other elected officials in the village to put some of these programs together. I think we're really turning that building over to make it work for the community.
And weathering through the pandemic where you had to redo your business plan for your food pantry, which still operates there also.
Right, so we have the food pantry there, and we're looking at expanding our event center, because now we have 80 days of early voting, so that takes away space away. So, and we'll come in and talk more about that in the fall.
Another time, yeah, right.
Yes.
Right. Dennis, thank you very much. And a reminder, if you are interested in attending the meet and greet open house event, very informal type event where you can come and learn about the various partner agencies that will be working with the Addison Township 708 Mental Health Board, that event is Wednesday, May 22nd from 4 until 5:45 at the Addison Township Event Center at 401 North Addison Road, followed by their meeting of the Mental Health Board. And if you want to keep up with more information on the Mental Health Board and its work in DuPage County and here at Addison Township, their website is addisontownshipmhb.com, and I suppose through the Secretary of State's office website to get more information about the operations at that location.
That's correct.
Dennis, thank you very much for coming in to talk about what's been happening at Addison Township. Sounds like a busy place, a lot of things happening, especially with their mental health board and their upcoming reception on Wednesday, May 22nd. Thank you for joining us on ACTV Newsmakers.